Hey everybody, welcome to Your Unpaid Therapist.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Your Unpaid Therapist.
I'm not getting paid. I didn't even get a donut.
Oh, that's sexy though. I like it.
I'm Valery Milagros Ortiz.
I don't know. I am your host, Alikona. She's away. Brad Ford.
This is Your Unpaid Therapist. Shoo-wah, cha-cha.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a show that I'm not a host of. I'm just here, but I'm going to introduce it. This is Your Unpaid Therapist.
And we're used to listening to you laugh every time. Everybody knows. Guys, I love it.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Oh my goodness. It's so great to have you. Thank you for opening.
Alikona and Valery are your hosts for today, everyone. I'm just your side piece here.
Side piece. A hot
Side piece, girl.
We are talking about celebrating.
Celebrate good times.
Come on. We don't do it enough. I think it's one of those things, depending on what it is, right? You're used to celebrating the big things. Some people don't celebrate at all. Yeah. We want to get into getting more comfortable with celebrating yourself, celebrating other people. But before we get into the nitty gritty, never have I ever. Never.
All right.
You have them?
Where are they? You have the cards.
I know, I was taking a long dramatic pause.
Okay.
Goodness gracious.
I thought you were waiting on us. I was like, I don't have them.
Sips. Okay, she's shuffling, going through these cards.
Okay,
she's basically cheated the last two episodes and just pick whatever she wanted.
Never have I ever fallen off a stage or hurt myself during a performance.
Well, I know you have, but I don't think I have. I've never fallen off. I've never, I've never hurt myself in a performance. What about y'all?
I did, and I talked about this in another episode. Like I was doing like a scene for state competitions, and we were doing a pulling action. The guy he let go before he was supposed to, and I got a hairline fracture, and that
Oh my gosh.
sucked. But yeah, it was not good,
Ooh,
especially because you sit all the time.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do but wait it out. But yeah.
What about you?
Yes and no. When I was in high school, it's not even like that great of a funny story, but when I was in high school, it was like homecoming game, and it was during school hours. We had a pep rally, so it's not one of those whoever decides to come comes. Like the whole school has to attend because it's during school hours. And we got to perform. I was a freshman, so I got to be with like the varsity cheerleaders and the varsity football players. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to run them to round off in a toe touch. Because back then I hadn't learned how to do any flips yet. So, toe touch seemed. Anyways, I rounded off. I did my toe touch, but I overpower. Just don't know how to judge my own power. And toe touched in the air, but then flew back and landed somehow I landed on the back, on my back. Legs sprawled open, just wide open to the air and on my back. And I was like,
I know. I was like, ow.
Yeah. And all you can do is just get up and hope everybody saw.
Everybody saw.
Like
They saw it.
the whole
They saw it, girl.
school. Oh my God. But I have had, side note, in a cheer practice, there's something called a basket toss where basically you jump into people's hands, they throw you in the air and they catch you. And I've had people throw me in the air and just like, I slipped through their hands and just landed straight on the ground. And I was like,
Yeah, that's happened.
Anyways.
Oh my gosh.
Right,
Pick a card. Pick any card.
You go.
Okay, never have I ever.
I remember both wearing sweaters. Like we both wore like turtlenecks with short sleeves earlier.
We're in sync. Okay, never have I ever kissed more than one person in 24 hours.
Oh.
You know what? He's like,
I've
how
kissed
about
more than one person in 24 minutes.
Hey!
Excuse me. Wow.
Yes.
Whatever.
24 seconds, bitch. It's called a group.
Oh, excuse me.
Funny again, like such an interesting life that you live.
Or slutty. And I'm sex positive. We're just a slutty. No, I'm back in the day.
Sex positive. That's good though.
I had fun.
What's so funny is that when I thought about that, never have I ever, I was like, no, and I was like, oh yeah, I did.
You did?
Because I was an actress, or I am an actress,
Girl,
and so,
No, we mean real.
Oh, yeah.
We mean real deal.
oh no,
Never?
no.
You know what? I
I'm telling
disagree
y'all.
with you last week. You're like, my life's boring. And I was like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Thank you. I deserve to.
It's too late now. You got a man. What about you?
No.
Really? No.
Do you know how hard it is for me to even get one person to kiss me? Like 2? Come on, I haven't kissed 2 people in like the same decade.
Wow.
Like,
See?
ugh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shuffle them cards before we feel too sorry
like,
for ourselves.
Right. Here, hold
All
on.
right.
Matt, Marr, you pick something.
Here, I saw green. I want green.
Green?
Yeah, I want
Boo,
green.
that's yellow.
Or yellow. Sorry, it was green with the blue.
Looked, yeah.
Okay, never have I ever talked shit about it being stinky in a group, then realized I was the one that stunk. That's a very specific
It's
question.
so specific.
I don't know. That has not ever happened to me. Now, sometimes I'll be like, do I smell? I have a pretty good nose, and I'm super vigilant about not smelling. So I'm all the time like,
Right.
no matter what, because I don't. But I feel like this applies to one of you.
I'm going to say no. I mean, I've had like obviously after a workout or something where you're just like, oh yeah. Or actually like, you know what it is? Go in Florida. Like I've gone for a run in Florida and I think because it's so sticky and muggy and I've gone in, like walked inside the house and be like, I smell like outside, you know, kind of like dogs do. But I'm aware like you, like I have such a sensitive nose and I will fix that real quick. Alikona.
I mean, the first time I discovered body odor, I was in camp, in brownie camp. So at least I was younger and
You're
this
a
is not
kid, yes.
recent. But you know, you do the transition of being little kid to grown up and things happen and you stink.
Yeah, hormones happen.
Yeah, and so like I was at camp and like da-da-da-da, and I remember being in my cabin and kind of like, you know, my underarm, and I think I told you guys this, but I was like, it smells like tacos in there. And I was like, is that me? I was like, oh my God, I smell like that.
You're like, I've been doing that.
And so I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I smell like tacos.
Aww.
And I made her send me some Teen Spirit deodorant.
That Teen Spirit was the shit,
Teen
though.
Spirit, that was the
It
shit.
was. That did everything.
Probably gave
it
you
needed to
cancer,
do.
but that was the shit.
It was so good.
Do they even make that anymore?
I
Teen
don't
Spirit?
know, but I hope somebody out there is using it.
I hope so.
Oh, memories.
Goodness
I love it.
gracious.
Did we do all of them?
Yes, we did.
We did.
Okay, so today we wanted to talk about celebrating ourselves. Primarily, I brought that up because I'm like, I'm so bad at it. I can celebrate
You
you
are.
on your birthday and do kind of cutesy stuff. But in terms of like celebrating oneself, I think because it feels like either 2 things. 1, it can feel like conceited and wrong. Or 2, you just don't even recognize that your efforts deserve celebration, or at least for me, because I'm like, I'm on my hustle. I gotta go. And this is only a stepping stone. Why would I celebrate this? This is literally minute. The big thing is this thing, and I can't celebrate till I get to the big thing. And that's not how you.
And did you ever, growing up, did you see your mom or dad celebrate birthday? Okay.
The one time my dad told me he was proud of me was in a card, and it's when I graduated from college, and that's it.
But you did say your mom celebrated all the little things like Valentine's or little Easters and things. So,
Yes.
okay.
So holidays, but I feel like that's different to
Is it?
me.
Okay.
It's like
because I think holidays are their
Given.
tradition.
Okay.
You're celebrating more the holiday,
Not-
and
not the person or-
person and the
yeah.
attributes or behaviors of a person.
Right. And I've never had somebody throw me a big party. Like my big party was, I turned 16 and I had a sleepover, which, I mean, look, that's a big deal when you're a teenager, okay?
Mhm.
But that's like the extent of it. So when you hear of other people like having these big bashes and like, I just didn't really experience that. So it's not part of my vernacular, but I think it's a beautiful thing. And I love when people do it.
Now I have a question for you guys because this is or can be a controversial subject. How do you feel about over celebrating little kids, like that whole like trophy situation and just like everybody gets the trophy? What are your thoughts on that? Like is there, what's the balance, right, of telling this 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old like everything you do is amazing, you're the best, like da 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 da. So how do we find balance, right, on like teaching celebrating moments and celebrating your achievements and the small things, but also teaching that, like you've talked about this before, Matt, that like the negative and the loss and stuff almost makes the joy and celebrating something that's positive like even stronger, like you need the both. Yeah, so what are your thoughts on that with when it comes to like teaching too young that like to celebrate everything and you're amazing at it all? Or would that have helped you?
I think that would have helped me because I had such low like confidence. But I think, yes, there is a fine line. I think it is okay to celebrate that someone showed up. I get that they're like, oh, a participation trophy. Well, that's how you phrase it too, but like, congratulations for showing up. Even
I
though
like that.
you weren't maybe that good yet, you're gonna get better, and one day you will get that winning trophy, but you showed up, and that takes a lot of guts because not everybody can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really like that. I feel like I'm not a fan of participation trophies. I'm not a fan of telling little kids that they're great at everything. I don't think they're going to learn that way. And I do not want to raise my own children in that way. But I love that. And I'm a big fan of not saying good job, like that was great, but being very specific. Like you put a lot of effort into that. You see like what happened when you practiced a lot? Like good for you. Or you showed up. Like I'm so proud of you that today you were tired, but you still went to practice. Like, and getting specific about the things that I am proud of that little kid. So they understand the work or what the why, like what they did to get that like happy feeling or that win, right? So I like that show, like at least getting specific with a child and like you showed up because that is a big deal.
So I agree with you. You did a great job of, I think we equivocate good, bad, and that a child, because what we learn as children is how we celebrate it. How we celebrate as children is how we celebrate as adults. I think there's a lot of components. I think it's self-love, your ability to give that to yourself, but also you did a great job of explaining, of supporting someone's behaviors. Like you were really tired and you decided to push through this and worked really hard. I'm proud of you for that. Then that's not because I think we equivocate you're a good person or a bad person.
Yeah.
And that if we don't celebrate ourselves, do we think we're a bad person? No, it's so I think those qualifiers of good, bad, let go of those things. Because then when we, at least for me, as someone who I'll celebrate myself, but I do it because I'll be honest, when I say it, it still makes me a little uncomfortable. I feel like a part of me wants to say, "Oh, you're a little full of yourself," or another part is anybody else going to come and celebrate you?
Yeah.
And so are you just going to be like, but I pushed through that and I'm so glad I have because some of the best, most important moments of my life have been when I just gathered with my friends. And it's really not a celebration. It is a celebration of me, but it's really actually more about the celebration of our friendship and our family. And so that's been a nice thing to happen for me when I do stuff like that.
You know, I think also you triggered something. I think it's important who you keep around you and if those people will celebrate you too. As a child, you have no choice. Your parents are your parents. But as you get older, celebrating other people and allowing them to celebrate you. Because again, I was saying some little things, because I was not taught that they're worth a celebration, I will quickly bypass. So it's nice to have friends that will say, wait, no. Like that was hard and you did that thing. Oh, but I still want this. Doesn't matter. And I've learned through manifestation classes that if you don't celebrate the small things, the universe, why are they going to give you that one big thing to celebrate when you're not even grateful for the little things that it's giving you?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's,
It's a long road to wait for the big wins in life. It's like my friend Don McCoy said, we all need a little win once in a while. And I think when we celebrate the little wins, that's what often I actually think the little wins can be more important than the big wins because it's those little wins of chipping away towards a dream or a self, whatever, that get you to the big win.
So wait, let me ask you then, what does celebrating yourself look like to you and you, Val? Because it's so funny. When I first got here, I was journaling, right? And one of the things in my journal asks, how will you either love yourself today or celebrate yourself today? And I run out of stuff. I'm like, a cookie? I'm going to give myself a cookie if I accomplish
and
X.
that's deep. That's your celebration, a cookie.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know what to do. So it's like a piece of chocolate or a cookie, or like, I'll be like a self hug. And at the end of the night, I'm like, And then like, that's how I don't know. I literally don't.
And why a cookie?
Because I like cookies.
Okay. But you don't deprive yourself of cookies.
I don't, but
I don't want to say that because I feel like that can get into like, a whole body shaming, food shaming thing. And just to be clear, Alikona works the shit out of her body, but she also is healthy with, like, she has her little treats and stuff like that. But
It's because I don't have. It's honestly because I don't have any idea how to celebrate, and I'm like, a
Yeah.
cookie sounds good, so I will promise myself a cookie tonight if I do everything on my to-do list
I
or
think
whatever.
there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
Yeah.
if that's how you want to celebrate yourself, I think that's 100% fine.
Especially if you do, like, when you're having that cookie or whatever that is, you feel like,
Like, this is so
yes,
good.
you know, like if all those emotions go through your body, then it's valid for
Okay.
you because
Yeah.
it'll be
Yeah.
different, for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, hence why I asked, like, how do each of you practice celebration?
To celebrate for any celebration, I'm trying to think of smaller things because I
I
immediately
can think
I'm
of one if you want to think.
yeah, go.
I think way that I'm celebrating myself now more is because I do this meditation. I do my meditation teacher has me do loving kindness meditation, and in that meditation, you kind of go through and you send love to people you care about, then to strangers, to difficult people. You kind of go through this list, but the next to the last list before you send love out to the universe or whatever you want to send, you send it to yourself. And that's been very difficult for me. It's been a good learning thing for me to um to send love to myself, to sell I'm getting much better at it. And but I think so for me, a way that I celebrate myself is I kind of if I have a moment that I especially lately, if I have an intention and I listen to my gut and I follow through with my gut, that's a win for me because so often I wouldn't trust my own gut or I would talk myself out of what I really wanted to do. And then I ended up resenting myself and sometimes being upset with somebody else or with me when really I was mad that I didn't listen to myself. So I just the other day, I was like in a good mood and I had done something, I'd worked really hard the next day and that I got up that day and I started to think, well, I need to do this and this and that. And I thought, what if I just kind of let my gut take me today? Like if I want to go on a walk, I go on a walk. And that's kind of actually how I celebrated myself for the morning. I didn't plan anything. I didn't use my
Ooh,
brain. I celebrated myself by just going with what my heart wanted to do that morning. It was a great morning and it set me up for a great day.
that's awesome. I love that celebrating yourself was also allowing yourself to just be. Like it was kind that's fascinating.
Or if we think it's like Shirley Ralph when she just had that the speech, I think at the Golden Globes. If one, I think this is a good, if you don't know, if celebrating, the word celebrate triggers you, or that's hard for you to celebrate yourself, I think a great way to start celebrating yourself is to thank yourself and to have gratitude for yourself, past self, for the future self, maybe that you're for the present self. Because I really loved in Shirley Ralph's speech when she said she was thanking people and she said, and you know what? I want to thank me. I want to thank me because I believed in myself. I told myself I could do this. And I thought that was such a beautiful thing that we often don't do. We don't thank ourselves for showing up for ourselves.
yeah, I love that. Man, and as you're talking, I'm like, I think when I check things off my list, I'm such a list person and crossing it off or checking it off. I love writing things down. And when I do my list, which this sounds like really sad. Maybe it feels
No,
sad
no,
saying it out
no.
loud, but I'm just like, good job, Val.
No, yeah. So so when you check everything off the
I just
list, what do you feel?
I accomplished, and I feel like that, like good job, Val. And I say that, and or the instinct thing, or listening to my gut, like little things.
Is it
I'll
hard
say it
for you
out
to
loud.
celebrate? Like, so if you have a day and not everything gets crossed off on the list, do you, does that stress you out?
I don't know so much as it stresses me out. May If it gets too much, maybe. But I do. I mean, I am up here when it all gets checked off, like my little planner, and now I got like colorful pens, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a huge win. Even something very small, like, oh, I picked up the groceries in time. It's I don't know. Yeah, that's big. And gosh, you were
I think it's good to feel accomplished. I think what's great about that is we often tell ourselves, well, I'll feel better. You were talking about this. I'll feel better. I'll feel accomplished. I'll feel like I can, when I've done a big thing. But like I remember counseling people and talking about people struggling, like let's say with depression or something like that. They got out of bed that day and went and fixed themselves breakfast. Sometimes when you're in the midst of
yeah.
a depression, That's a huge deal. Or they
right.
got up and walked their dog and they didn't want to do that. And so how do we look at that resiliency in that instance and then build upon that?
Yes, yes, and that is so important. And then that is exactly which very similar to what I'm saying when
Picking up
celebrating
the laundry can
children,
be huge.
and those little things. You know what I was thinking about when you were talking is back to the like I love celebrating people and birthdays and things like that. And recently a good friend of mine, I won't say any names, him and his wife do too. And a mutual friend kind of shamed, well, she shamed them for always wanting to like throw parties because in this person's opinion, we're too old for that, and these people have children, so children should get birthday parties. But like we're adults, like calm down was the energy. And then I think she forgot that like I am so that girl. Like I will have a party till
Yeah.
I'm 99.8,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I
always,
think you should.
yeah, I'm like life. That is literally the most like my crazy like out of our control thing, and to be here another freaking year, day, minute, whatever is, it's a miracle, right? It's so it was so interesting to me that this person was just so, I mean, and I think there's a lot going on in this person's particular life, so there it's like a very Debbie Downer energy. But I'm like, you are angry almost,
Yeah.
at like these people, and obviously me too, even though she wasn't saying it, like celebrating parties. And then she almost was like, and I just, it's like too much, and da, da,
Then
da.
don't go to those parties.
That's what I was saying. I was
Just
like,
don't go,
oh,
girl.
like it's all good, like
Don't yuck our yum.
right,
Yeah.
nobody's trying to like beg you to come, especially with that kind of energy. Like I don't want you to come. So it was a very interesting thing because I've never heard anybody say that.
Yeah.
I have heard a lot of people say, "Oh, my family didn't do this." People say, "Oh, I'm too old for birthdays and things like
Yeah.
that." And um, yeah, I don't
I
see that at
understand feeling
all.
like I'm too old, but being like annoyed at other people for doing it for themselves, I think that's
Not your
such an
place.
I mean, we all have those friends that like if y'all have done this, sorry, I'm going to shade you, but like I had one friend that wanted to like throw a big party for like her half birthday as well as her birthday, and I'm like, it's like, girl, you're 34. Like, and even when like it's a half birthday is not a real
Right, right,
thing. I
right,
don't think
Yeah.
it's a real thing. It just celebrate your. That was like a little because I was like, oh, you want to do this instead of your birthday because your birthday's around the holiday. She's like, no, I want to do both, and I was like, okay, all right, all right.
I understand that. I mean, I think the energy came for her, which is another interesting dynamic or opinion of just like they want um everybody to give them attention and like
Yeah.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
more of that, and it's just like, but on someone's birthday, like they should like they
Yeah.
deserve it. Like I am happy to give them that attention.
Yeah.
I don't care how old they are.
I feel like I changed when I moved to LA because I used to be super social when I was in Vegas. Every Friday night, my friends would go meet up and we'd be like 20, 25 deep, going to Cheesecake Factory for, for shiggles.
Sure.
And so because I was so natural and like when I had a birthday, those same 25 people would show up and we'd go to dinner and we were always celebrating something. And then I moved to LA and didn't know anybody except for the people that I moved there with. So my friend circle got smaller. And as I got a dance community, it's just a different type of people. Like we're all in LA with purpose, and that purpose is our career, or at least when you're an artist. So it's just a different type of folk. And people here I've learned are not as committal in terms of like, oh yeah, girl, I'm gonna come, and they just don't show up or whatever.
Oh,
And I
I remember that.
remember I had a birthday party at the Cheesecake Factory. And I had invited 15 people, or I don't know how many people, but I think like 15 people RSVP'd and one person showed up. And I just felt so stupid. I had this huge table and it was just me and this person who happened to bring her boyfriend. So then there were three of us. And I think they just felt sorry for me the whole night. And I was okay with like some people did text and say, oh, dang, I can't make it. But then there were people who they were like, yeah, I'll be there, and just didn't show up at all. So after that, I didn't throw a birthday party for years because I was like, well, that just felt stupid. And why am I going to do this if no one's going to show up? And the person that I was dating wasn't a huge celebratory person either. So it's not like he was going to throw me a party. Like we might go do something, but it was never a big thing. So then I decided when I turned 30, I was like, well, I don't want to be disappointed. I've always been a defensive person in terms, well, I'm defensive anyway. Let's be real. I'm a little defensive, but I will be on the defense about before someone has the opportunity to let me down, I'm going to do something to pick me up. So on my 30th birthday, I had made plans and I went to New York by myself. Nobody else could go. And I was like, well, I want to go. And I've always wanted to have the Macaulay Culkin experience because my birthday is in December. And I was like, I'm going to home alone to it. You know, Alikona lost in New York. And I had so much fun. But the initial idea behind that was, no one in LA is going to celebrate me and no one's going to show up. So I'm going to go celebrate myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my own.
Which is wonderful.
Thanks.
I mean, maybe, you know, whether your thoughts of whether people think it's unrealistic or not, at least you, again, I just talked about like last year, I traveled internationally by myself and it was one of the best things I ever did. I think that there's something when you know you can rely on yourself and when you can know that, yes, other people can cheer you up or celebrate you, but that you can do that for yourself. That's freeing.
So freeing.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing to be able to do. So I say kudos for you. And also you got to get rid of those people in LA are flaky, but friends that don't show up. No.
It's so fascinating too, because my circle is so small and it's funny because I'll think about it and people are like, well, who are your friends? Or if I had a snow, who would I invite? I'm like, well, Valery, Matt, Teresa, Sheila. And then I'm like, I think I kind of ran out of people already.
Well, you get older and it's just people are doing lives. So, you know, the dynamics can change, but the energy and the love can be just as immense.
Let me tell you something. If Valery throws a party, I'll be like, you are such a good person and I must be a terrible person because every time you throw a party, there's like all these people here and they're like, ah! I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm doing something wrong in life.
Funny. No, it's not. I think David mentioned that too. And he's like, this is really interesting. And people have mentioned it before that I like tend to like bring people together. But again, I think it's because I love celebrating people. So it's, I don't know, I value it. It's important to me. I will text, like cheer you on and make sure I keep those connections, even though they're from like high school or from that TV show. And like the Miley thing, like when Miley passed away, like the amount of people that showed up for me and Miley, like I was, whoo, that was a thing, you know,
Yeah.
but it's just like, I think maybe it's just when you pour into people, I don't think it's hard for them to pour into you, you know, right. Especially when they know like, this is important to this person. And that's people like really knowing you, you know, right. It's like, I know for Alikona, like that birthday or even Vegas, you know, like, you know, me, like I'm so comfortable in my little bubble in my home, but I'm like, no, this is important to her. Like, so you do those things for those people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is a testament to knowing whether it's big or small, like knowing your people and them knowing you and just keeping them close. Right.
Yeah.
Like those relationships. Yeah.
And then, by the way, on the note of celebration, I just want to share with everybody else. I learned this manifestation thing sorry, I've got like a weird hairband on my fingers. Celebrating your wins before you win is a great way to manifest that win. And we always wait until we get the thing before we celebrate it. And so I had taken this class and we'll talk about it in another episode. And it talks about like money. It's called Money EQ. And we talk about money wounds and all these like generational wounds. Like it's so fascinating. And so one of the things the guy said is like, you need to sell it. We all know this from if you've seen The Secret or whatever, you believe in it, you don't. But the whole principle of The Secret is like, act like it's yours. I've heard that millions of times, but I've never heard celebrate it like it's yours. So I just want to share that with people because myself, Matt, Valery, and Teresa Espinoza, one of our other guests, we have our millionaire party that we're having. We're celebrating our first million. And I'm just so excited. I'm like, we're bringing our Magic Mike money, our Monopoly money. I told them, I said, if y'all want to draw money and cut it out and color it with crayons, like it's a creative process that could also help facilitate the feeling. But I want everybody to show up to our party like with their pockets fat and ready to celebrate. I swear to you guys, I'm like, when the waitress comes up, I'm like, girl, thank you for my cake. I'm gonna give her like a fake $100 bill and be like, thank you, don't spend it all in one place.
She's like, okay. Yeah. This is
awesome.
interesting. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I love, and you know, the cool thing about celebrating yourself and celebrating others is you are that person. You find really unique, fun things to that you love, but that will also be a positive impact in other ways. It's not just like, oh, we're going to celebrate this moment, but this is also helpful because of this. And that's super joyful, and not a lot of people do those things, especially when we get like wrapped up with work and jobs, or finding the next job, you know, and you're in this space of like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend money on dinner because I haven't worked in X amount of months, you know. But you always find a way to celebrate in that. So even if you don't necessarily celebrate yourself, which you've gotten better at, I love that you always try to bring people together, or you teach ways to for others to manifest and celebrate themselves. So that's still like such a beautiful quality, that like you're a giver no matter what, even though you didn't receive those lessons growing up.
It's like RuPaul says, though, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? And I think that's what celebrating yourself is loving yourself.
And I'm still learning what that is technically on a specific term, because you hear that all the time, like self-love, self-love. I'm like, what do I need to like, I love you, Alikona. You know, and there are exercises where, you know, you look in the mirror and you look at yourself in the eyes. And I've taken classes where you have to do that too. And I'm like, I feel real silly right now, but okay. Oh my God, do you see that? I've got like a little wrinkle there. Oh, there's like a little dot there. Wait, that's not the exercise. Okay, hold on. You know? But yeah, hold on. Let me look at
self love. That's a whole other episode.
Yeah,
That's a lot. But I do think that the things are connected. But like you said, if just having a cookie today is something that makes you feel accomplished, that feels like just a little, like I said, maybe if you feel weird celebrating yourself, how do you start to in small ways celebrate yourself? I think a cookie is a great way to start.
Yes. Wish I had a cookie to cheers you.
Right.
Fake cookie.
I brought cookies, you guys. Hold on, because we brought snacks. I brought some vegan chocolate chip cookies.
Yes,
I'm going to dive into those.
in the kitchen. Yes, thank you for bringing this topic up. I love have the cookie. I want a cookie. And thank you again
You're
for
welcome.
your time.
Yeah. You're welcome.
And your
Happy to be here. I love you
expertise and
both.
Yeah.
We love you so
Love you
much.
both.
Yay to celebration.
Yay!
Celebration.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Bye-bye.